So this is the fourth devlog. Stuff I did in this series of development includes aiming and firing, not necessarily in that order. So I decided I needed to be able to make the character fire, otherwise I would have no idea to judge if the game was going to be fun. So that was today's task. I created a little target, realized it was far too low for Luna to shoot at the moment, and made a little crate for it to stand on. So I want Luna to have two methods of firing. One is going to be just firing from the hip, which she can do at any time, and the second is going to be crouching down and actually taking aim, which is going to be more powerful, but it's going to take longer to do. You're also going to be able to fire it. It should auto aim at whatever is closest to you, and whatever Luna can hit, or maybe not. Maybe it can go through walls. I haven't really decided, but I mean to create a static object and the target. Never mind. And the target I made into a physics body. So I can sort of kick it around. Hooray! Physics are always more fun than not having physics. So now that I've got something to shoot, I need a way to go about shooting it. I'm not trained in animation at all, but I do know that in Disney animations they use squash and stretch to show motion. So I basically wanted to have the arrow, or the bolt, I guess you'd call it, moving along its path and getting longer and longer to indicate that's going very, very fast. And I sort of want to have it disintegrate into, a cloud of lunar energy. And I think I got an effect that sort of does that. So now that I had an arrow flying across the screen, I had to make our character Luna able to actually fire it. I had to do a quick lookup of some Godot code because the process of creating an object within another object it's kind of a weird construction, and I don't work in Godot that often, so I didn't remember it. But hey, now I can fire an arrow. I can jump over here, and it's physics, so I can fire an arrow at the target and it'll fly away, which is more fun than it should be. I can fire a jillion arrows, and I don't have them being destroyed yet, so they all just sort of stack on top of one another, and they push past each other, and it's a big mess. But that's something that I can sort of work out. Going to shift some stuff around. The next important thing right now, I can sort of only fire arrows rightward, and obviously it's important to be able to fire them in both directions. The way I had the sprite set up really didn't work, where it was kind of fired from one side and the arrow was at one side. So if I flipped the sprite around, the collision box would still be at the other side of the sprite. So I opted instead to take the sprite, kind of make it a lot wider, and that way I could flip it about its middle, and the collision box would still be in the right spot. There's probably a better way to do that, but I didn't do it that way. So now I can fire to the right.
And I can fire to the left. And I can fire directly through the target. I don't know exactly why this is happening, but I didn't really feel like debugging it at the moment, so it's kind of still occasionally a bug.
So now I had a full arrow going. The next thing I wanted to do was sort of make an aiming reticle. I want it so that the character can crouch down and take aim, and they'll be able to hit anything on the field. It'll auto aim at whatever the closest sort of targetable object is. Right now my targeting code just literally selects that target, that particular target that I've already made, which is not perfect, but we'll fix it later. So I want the reticle to look something like this, a little spinner that will sort of hover transparently over whatever I'm aiming at. And as a way to help the player know what they're aiming at, I'm going to kind of create a big star pattern that's going to converge on the target wherever it happens to be. Once again, animation, not really my strong suit, but Sprite makes it pretty easy to figure out what you're doing. And the animations I'm doing, it's not people, it's not as complicated as it definitely could be. So I've got 8 rays of light sort of converge, make a ring, and then kind of disintegrate, and only the spinner is left behind. Something like this, but my animations are not quite named correctly. Fix it around, and yeah, something like this, where just everything converges and then the target appears. And I want this to happen when the character is aiming, and I want eventually what's going to happen is if you've aimed long enough and you let go of the aim and or fire button, it's going to fire a shot. And if you let go before the aiming is finished, the reticle is just going to disappear. And I've got the second half of that working pretty well. But the first half, it will, I still did not today create the actual damage, the actual firing of this thing that comes out here. I sort of want something more interesting to shoot at, maybe something that can take damage. But right now, I've got this going on. So we can aim, whoosh, and we can fire. Earlier, I had sort of a bug where once you aimed, you could no longer hip fire. I messed around with a bit of Godot stuff, kind of confusing internals of the software. I don't really understand why what I was doing was wrong, but I changed it and now it's all better. So that's what I got done today. I think the very next thing I have to do is I have to make something cool to shoot at. And from then on, I will kind of be able to tell if killing things is going to be satisfying in this game or if it's going to be boring. And I think that's going to have a big impact on whether this game's going to be fun to play or not. So, thanks for watching the devlog. Please be sure to stick around. And I will see you in the next one, probably in a couple days. Bye.